All right. Speaking of New York, the Brooklyn Nets, Rob, Kyrie Irving, and let's just do the whole story. Kyrie, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Kevin Durant were all cleared from COVID protocol and are eligible to play tomorrow. Now, Kyrie won't play because it's a home game. They play the 76ers tomorrow, but KD and LaMarcus Aldridge will probably play. But Kyrie, he's going to ramp it up and get himself in basketball shape. But he had his first practice with the Nets, Rob, this season.
Unbelievable. Here we are, almost the start of the new year, right?
It's unbelievable. He talked about it afterwards. Here he is.
Coming into the season, I had my thought process on being able to be a full teammate and a full-time teammate, and just go out and have fun and provide, a sense of a great brand of basketball out there. But unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. Things happen for a reason, and now we're here, and I'm just grateful for this.
Rob, I thought, and Kyrie said as well, that he understood the franchise's decision to, basically send him away and you can't play in road games. And he respected it. He said he had to he didn't say look in the mirror, but he said he had to really try to look at it from their perspective.
Right, not his, right. They're running an organization and a team, and everything is not going to be for you, Chris. That's just how it is. I mean, and you either have to adapt or do something else. It's not your team. It's not your decision. And it's unprecedented to have somebody who's half-stepping, not all the way with the team. You know what I mean? And I get it.
Right. And Rob, I thought he sounded more humble than he has in a long time. Because Kyrie comes off as arrogant. His last Zoom thing when he, did it on his own after he had kind of been, decide he's not getting vaccinated. And, think of some of the press conferences in the recent past.
Right.
Where he said, the media are a bunch of pawns and just so on and so forth. I thought he sounded a bit humbled for him to say, I'm grateful for this opportunity. Like, hopefully I'm not just, projecting onto him, but that he is a bit humbled, that he had the game he loves taken away from him. And maybe it'll make him, appreciate it more and, Rob, not take, a week off here or there, or do some of the zany stuff he's done in the past.
I think he's playing for his basketball career and his basketball legacy. I really do. From the standpoint of he's on full display now. Like, if you're an owner as talented as he is, and I think you're right. The humble part comes because everybody thinks, right, like you're that guy and you matter or whatever. And then you realize that life goes on without you and the league goes on. The league doesn't pause. People stop after a while, Chris. Oh, they don't have Kyrie. And he's looking at the games, and every night the Nets are winning, and it's like, okay, I'm not on the team. Not like they went 0-22, and you're like, see, you need me. It wasn't like that. They had the best record in the East. So
Steph is doing his thing.
Right.
Morant's on the rise.
And he sees it.
They move on. Yeah.
And then he's not on the top 75 list. When his contract comes up, can owners look at him honestly and go, can we count on this guy? It's the pandemic this time. Next time he doesn't want to dribble the balls that are made in China. I don't know what the next thing is. You know what I mean? Like, so he is playing for that. I think your basketball mortality flashes before you and you go, wait a minute. Everybody else is playing, Chris. Nobody else is at home. Nobody. You're the only one at home.
Well, the only pushback I'll give, because I agree with a lot of what you said, but I would tone it down a little just because it didn't push him to get vaccinated.
No, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
only because the Nets are the ones who gave in to him. The Nets could have played hardball and he could have missed the entire season, and then I think we would have probably seen a different decision. And they didn't want to burn out Durant. They're looking at it.
You think he might have gotten vaccinated?
I think that he would have had to think about it, Chris, as to sit out a whole NBA season, and depending on what the Nets did and how much he was or wasn't missed. And like I said, I know he has one more year left of his contract, but if I'm an owner, I think Kyrie is a wild card and somebody you can't fully trust. And if it's not this, it's taking a mental break. It's doing other things, Chris, which is fine. And I applaud him for caring about other people and wanting to take up causes. But there comes a time where you play your NBA career, you can play ball, retire at 35, Chris, and you got your whole life to dig in and roll your sleeves up and make changes. But you have to be committed to the place that's paying you. You just have to.
No doubt. And Kyrie, and we've talked about this. Look, you can't have a savior complex. All right, you're not going to save the whole world. All right. And if it's like you said, we applaud the fact that you're conscientious.
I love it.
That you want to help people, that you're concerned about issues. But your platform, Kyrie, and the money you make from it can only help your ability to address all those causes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a person that cares about a lot of issues. Rob, if I had hundreds of millions of
you
dollars,
can make things right.
Oh my gosh. And a platform like Kyrie Irving as a superstar basketball player, I mean, he's got to think about that.
But see,
like,
here's
you cannot understate that.
And you could want to help people, Chris. You do it, with your foundation and the good work that you do with at-risk youth and all kinds of stuff that you guys do. It's the same thing with me. Like with mentoring. That's a big part of me, of what I do. But it doesn't interfere. I can mentor 25 people, but I'm not stopping my work. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Hey, Chris, I'm off. So-and-so's in town, a mentee, and I'm going with him. No.
Right, exactly.
I still got to do my job. And then when I have time to do the other stuff, that's fine. But you can't let those things get in the way of what your job is. No matter how good of a cause it is, you have a job to do that somebody's paying you.
And we've said it. Look, he's got a job where he's going to retire, as you said, at 35, 36, 37 years old, still be a young man.
A lot to
have
do.
Money where money's no longer concerned for him and his next generation and the generation after that. So you can do whatever you want. You'll have the rest of your life to do that. You won't have the rest of your life to play basketball. And he has to love the game to get to the level he has. I mean, I get it. Everybody that makes the NBA doesn't love it. But Kyrie's not 7 feet tall, right? He's not like jumping out of the gym. Yeah, he's athletic, of course, but he's not like, one of those freaks of nature necessarily. He's skilled. He worked on his ball handling. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't just come. He worked on his finishing.
Kyrie did First Take with us, Chris. It was me and Skip that week. And Kyrie was one of the guests, like he was on the set with us. And I remember just looking at him, his size-wise, and you know what I mean, and everything. Yeah. And I just said, like, if he was walking down the street, there's no way I think he's an NBA player. Like, he was in college. I just was like, there's not like he was super built. He just had a regular body. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, some guys look like athletes or whatever. He looked like a regular Joe. And I was like, wow, this guy's going to be the first pick in the draft.
Right.
And he's played 12 games in college.
So ultimately, Rob, here's the deal. Here's the question, and we'll throw it out to listeners in a moment. Do you think that Kyrie's return is going to be a positive or a negative for the Nets?
I think it's going to be a positive because I do believe he understands. You just said it, the way he sounds. He's been humbled somewhat. He's playing for his basketball legacy and career. He's left off the top 75 list. Some people believe he belonged on that list. He's fighting for his basketball. I just don't know
how you put Dame on there and not Kyrie. Like, how do you choose him over Kyrie?
100%. But
you could argue vice versa too. But I don't know.
But some of that is because I think
his quirkiness,
his quirkiness. Dwight Howard became goofy, right? And people kind of discounted Dwight. You go look at his first 10 years in the NBA. It's criminal. He's not on the top 75. Criminal.
Right. Rob, I've said it. I don't think the Nets have looked like they could win it without Kyrie. They got a great record at the number 1 seed in the East, but they haven't played well against good teams. James Harden, we talked about it yesterday. Is he back? Now, if James Harden, who's had 2 great games recently, if he's the old James Harden, then I don't know that they need Kyrie. But from what I've seen all year, they're with this James Harden playing below his superstar level. I think they need Kyrie, and as long, Rob, as all the players, or virtually all the players, are on board, and they're gonna understand. Look, when
they
Kyrie's
gotta be
there,
on board, otherwise
right,
he wouldn't be coming.
And
back.
Harden and Durant are on board, or they don't
Right,
do it.
but the other guys,
got to understand. Look, my minutes are gonna be different tonight because Kyrie's here. He's gonna get shots. He ain't been with us all week, but he's gonna come in and get 16 to 20 shots. All right. And as long as they understand that and can accept that, then I think it'll be a positive, Rob. We've seen playoff series, Rob, where, in fact, against Milwaukee last year, Kyrie played 4 games and Harden played 4 games out of the 7 because they were both injured. And they lost, I get it, but I think they were, I'd rather have Kyrie for 4 games than none, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it will only bite them if he doesn't play in any of those games and they lose. Then they'll wonder if they did the right thing. But that's another story. All right.